Hello everyone, 8-5 day 2. You're going to need chapter 8 notes and a calculator. We're going to go ahead right away and get started on the notes, so if you could just press pause and then we will go through them in just a second. Alright, today's lesson is on angle of elevation and depression. So an angle of elevation is formed by a horizontal line and the observer's line of sight to an object below the horizontal line. The angle of depression is formed by a horizontal line and the observer's line of sight to an object below the horizontal line. So we have a picture of kind of what this looks like. Notice here that when I look at these pictures here, horizontal lines are parallel, so the angle of elevation and the angle of depression in this diagram are congruent by the alternate interior angles theorem. So I went ahead and set up a picture in each one of these diagrams. If you can just quick sketch something in, press pause if you need, and then I'll get started with the problem. So our first problem starts with a circus act. At the circus, a person in the audience is at ground level, watches a high wire routine. A acrobat is 5'6" tall, standing on a platform that is 25 feet off the ground. And how far is the audience member from the base of the platform if the angle of elevation is and the person's line of sight is 27 degrees. So I just chose this guy right here to be the person that we're talking about. So what we're really trying to figure out is this horizontal line. How far is it from this person to the base of that platform? So it didn't show up very well, but anyway, we're trying to figure out this distance here. Let's switch this up just a little. So we're trying to find out this distance along the edge there. So if I notice what I have here as far as my diagram, I know that this person is 5.5 feet, 5.6 inches, 5 feet 6 inches, and then this height right here is 25. And notice that we're talking about this angle, so this side over here, which is going to be represented as 30.5, is going to be the opposite. And what we're trying to figure out is this line here, which is our adjacent. So the trig function that we need here is tangent. So we'd say the tangent of 27 is equal to opposite, which is 30.5, all over x. So this should not be anything new. It's from our previous lessons. When I cross multiply here, turns out that tangent is 0.51, and when I cross multiply, I get that x, the height, is actually rounded to the nearest foot, is 60 feet. On to the next one, press pause so you can kind of draw a diagram. So the picture isn't quite the same as what the diagram or what this says in the word problem, but I drew it according to what we have. So basically we're trying to find the angle here, so we're trying to use an inverse function. So we have this side, which is my opposite, this guy, which is my adjacent. So I'm going to be using inverse tan. So tan inverse, and the opposite side was 38, and the bottom side is 45. Now notice here I just made some markings in here. The swimmer is have a total height of 6 foot. The pool platform is 32 feet off the ground, therefore it's 38. And the edge of the pool is a total of, from edge to edge, it's 50. But that diving board comes off about 5 feet, so that would give us y, that's 45. So type that in your calculator, you get that that distance there, or that angle, happens to be about 40.18 degrees. So rounded to the nearest degree, it would be 40 degrees. Next one, it says Maria's at the top of a cliff. She sees a seal in the water. The cliff is 40 feet above the ground. The angle of depression is 52 degrees. What is the total horizontal distance from the seal to the cliff? So we're just trying to figure out this value right here, this x value. So again, looking what I have, here's my angle, this guy is my opposite, this is my adjacent, and again, I know an angle measure, so therefore I'm just going to use a regular trig function. This will be the tangent, and tangent of 52. Okay, erase this. Is going to equal the opposite, which is x, over the adjacent, which is 40. And this is just a nice one-step formula. We just figure out what the tangent of 52 is, and it turns out that that's 1.28 is equal to times 40 will equal my x value. And it turns out that the distance is about 51 feet to the nearest foot. Our last example, we're not going to do example 3. So this will be our last example. Again, I have this angle here, and I kind of drew the picture based on the diagram there. We know that the height off the ground is 30 feet. We want to know what is the horizontal distance between the hot air balloon and the landing spot to the nearest foot. So again, we have opposite and we have adjacent, which means we're using the tangent function. So tangent of 34 degrees is going to equal opposite, which is x, over hypotenuse, which is 30. And this is just a one-step equation. Tangent of 34 degrees, which is 0.67, is equal to x over 30. When you do all the math, cross multiply, and solve, you get that x is approximately 20 feet. So you have some time to work on the worksheet for today. Tomorrow we're just going to be talking about this a little bit more. And if you have questions, make sure you just check in with me.